Well, we're back after our hiatus of a very long time. We're back with Agree to Disagree with Denita and Jim.
How y'all doing out there? And for those that may notice the picture in the background, that's from a local artist in Harrisburg. Her name is Michelle Green. The name of the painting is called Nyambi. It's for home. We thought it was a beautiful painting to present to anyone who comes to see us right there in front of the house. So if you come out, just remember, go down to 3rd Street at Niasi, her art gallery downtown, right across from the farmer's market.
Well, since we've been gone for so long, of course, me and Jim have been sitting around the house, going back and forth about a heck of a lot of things over time. We even went back and forth about where to shoot this show. So we were sitting in the garage. We always sit in the garage almost every day. Anybody from the neighborhood knows, you walk past, you see us hanging out in the garage. But Jim thought it should be a little more formal. And as you can see, he bought us this new microphone for our show. And so we're going to be starting to come at you pretty regularly.
That's right. Got to make it for you. So make sure you can hear us clearly.
So for today, we're going to backtrack a little bit since we've been talking about this going on for a very long time. We're going to go on the Will and Jada, Will Smith, Chris Rock slap, which happened several months ago. I think at this point it was, the end of March.
Right.
It was the end of March.
That's correct.
So my point of view, which Jim adamantly disagrees, is first of all, don't blame. I am tired of everybody blaming everything on Jada. Will is a grown man. Should you hit somebody? Absolutely not. But he's a grown man. So for everybody to sit around and blame everything on Jada like she is some witch or something like that, that is ridiculous.
Well, I don't think we're blaming Jada, but I think she may have had a slight hand in it. I think sometimes, as men, we make decisions based upon our significant other. Maybe it's a prideful thing, maybe it's an ego thing, but to physically assault someone based upon something that was said, I think that's a little harsh for what was said, because I don't believe that was something that he needed to be smacked live on television in front of millions of people for. Slight joke, something that he does and many comedians do on a regular basis.
I think, with having said that, again, I never think it is right to hit anybody. I raise my kids and as well as go for my, on my own teachings. Hitting is never okay. Hitting is never playing. But when we sit here every day, day in and day out, and watch people fight on the internet, Jim sits here and says, oh, it's not okay for him to hit somebody. But Jim watches fights. He picks a day. It's usually Fridays. He calls it Friday Night Fights. And he goes on the internet and he watches fights. And then he sits here and he laughs and talks and like, hey, look at this one, blah, blah. So it's one thing when you say, oh, you shouldn't be hitting somebody, et cetera, et cetera. But then you sit there and watch fights and watch people do this all the time. We watch boxing matches, fights when they happen in hockey or other sports, and then we sit and laugh, and it's like a thing that we've each seen like thousands of fights in our lives, and 95% of us have been in a fight or two. And so, but then we're like, oh my God, can you believe he did that? Yes, because most of the people that are sitting here saying, oh my God, can you believe he did that? I've seen them in fights.
Well, I mean, that to me is like apples and oranges. First of all, we're talking about a man that's over 50. The people that I'm watching on the internet, they're not 50 years old with gray hair. So we're talking about two different people. People who have some sense, people who can make better decisions. And in my opinion, He is a grown man. That was the wrong time to do it. There's better ways to handle things, especially in that situation with two grown men. You can also talk to him in the back. If maybe in the back he had that situation and everyone came out to, oh yeah, we'll hit. Maybe I would be okay with that, but not live on television. And especially at the time when this is the first time that the Oscars actually let a black man run the Oscars and direct it. And of course, we show up and show out. So I just don't feel like it was the right decision. And then it just kind of went on. And then the main thing that really bothered me, I mean, the smack it is what it is. You do what you do and you deal with the consequences. But I feel like that was the opportunity before he received his award to apologize to that man and apologize to the people, which he did apologize to them. But I felt like he needed to apologize to that man because he didn't know that it was going to be that way. He was doing his job, making jokes. Whether he took it, whether Will was mad about something that happened in the past, like I said, that's something you address man to man, not something live on television where someone can't react, because if Chris Rock would have reacted, it really would have been bad. So I just feel like there's better ways to handle situations. We know when there's times when you need to get physical and when there's not. So that was my opinion.
I think, again, he definitely should not have done this at this time. This was the wrong time to get up there and fight in front of all of these people. It was absolutely terrible. It ruined the moment. And I think Chris Rock should be commended for handling it the way that he did. He absolutely would have made this whole thing super terrible if he would have fought back and there would have been a whole fight on the stage. It would have been a disaster. So I think in this whole thing, thank God that Chris Rock in that moment had the sense enough and the wherewithal to not do it. I was like, thank God somebody, and I think that Will should thank him too and say, hey, you know what? Usually when there's two people acting a fool, like I always, pray to God that me and you at the same time, like, please God, don't let us go to, red at the same time. It's just going to go crazy. So I'm really upset that Will, but on the other hand, if he doesn't mean the apology, then he shouldn't give an apology. The worst thing ever is for somebody to apologize to you because they were forced to. That's like the crappiest apology ever. So I think the other part to this, though, was when you go back and listen to what Chris Rock had to say about these two back in the day with the whole them boycotting the Oscars thing, which I didn't agree with, because it's like, if you weren't nominated, that's on you. You can't ask other people to get involved in that. But he ran them all the way down. It's time to eat. He ran them all the way down. And so, you know how we are when, like, people are, sorry, I'm going to say a bad word, when people are, like, talking shit about us. And then, like, so it's already, like, a little bit like, yeah, we remember what you said. You was talking all that stuff. And so then for him to bring it back and start running them down again, I think I would have already been on, like, lukewarm, and now you done took me to red. Now, would I get up on the stage? No. But he was talking that talk back. He ran them down before, so they probably were already mad.
Well, to me, that's a teenage mindset to think of that way. Like I said, once again, we're in our 50s. Those days are over. We know how to handle things correctly. We teach our children to handle things a certain way. Now to say you're going to do things differently, you should do this or you should do that like you were 20, that doesn't work. That's kind of being a hypocrite, in my opinion. So you should stick with what's right. We know how to handle things at this age, I would say. And if you don't know how to do that, then, you may need to check yourself. And I think in this time that he's off now, I think that's what he's probably doing, checking himself and really digging in deep to what really was the problem, because I definitely don't believe that was the issue that he's actually going through with that whole situation. But let's move on to the next situation. We were talking about Kevin Samuels.
we'll come back with another show since we're coming up on 10 minutes, so that way we can break and do part 2.
All right. See ya.
Bye.